Good morning, Theis. Great pleasure to see you again. We recently met in Berlin at the Cardano Summit, and you mentioned that you are building a project called Aquara. So please, in one sentence, tell us what is Aquara?
Yeah, Aquara is the world's first decentralized water fund.
Okay, that sounds already very fascinating. So what is the problem that you identified in the global water sector to justify creating such a fund?
Yeah, the thing that most people don't realize about the water economy is that it's much more massive than it seems. We're talking about $7 to $8 trillion market in pure wealth, spanning from everything from utilities, infrastructure, treatment, technology. But it is also the largest, most undercapitalized market on Earth. There is a $1 trillion funding gap in water infrastructure alone. And currently, as things stand, there is no global investment vehicle which really allows ordinary people like you and me to participate in the water economy. So yeah, that's really the problem that the water economy is facing. And that's what we're trying to fix.
So how does Aquara want to address, what is the solution that you guys come up with? How do you want to address the global challenge of limited global water access to clean and sustainable water? And maybe you can walk us through the process.
Yeah, for sure. So the idea is that we're really not competing with existing systems. We're kind of like complementing it. And as I mentioned before, like 99.9% of the whole market is inaccessible to people. So how Aquara works is that we create a dual asset treasury model, 50% in water assets because water assets have been around forever, water as a resource. And then the idea is that it's the most stable asset class out there. It has low correlation. It will always have global demand. And then the interesting twist is that we combine 50% with Bitcoin for long-term growth. No asset has outperformed Bitcoin the last 16 years. If Bitcoin just does half of what it has done so far, if we inject that into the water economy, you'll see a massive change in capital flowing in there. And so the core idea really of the business model is that the water assets provides resilience, Bitcoin provides growth potential, and then we use buybacks to feed our AQA token, the value in that. And then we have a decentralized governance layer, which produces engagement and also, engages people in it. And there is really no system like this in the world. So yeah, the core idea is really that we generate value through treasury appreciation. When Bitcoin and water grows, the treasury grows, and then the buyback engine with the value that comes back to the token holders, and then different partnership deals with the water tech startups, with the water sector, with the World Bank. And then the core idea around our solution is that we're not a standardized SaaS model. We're not a generalized marketplace. We are a whole new asset category, what I call a digital and decentralized sovereign wealth fund. And the core idea is to create some kind of long-term compounding potential, which really also have a public good effect. Yeah, that's our solution.
It's really interesting. So it's not that you guys are a decentralized fund in a way, but the projects that you want to invest in do not necessarily have to be decentralized, right? It's basically you guys are a fund, which the funds of which are destined to invest in promising projects. And I guess these could already be like existing projects as well as like new projects in Africa or whatever.
Yeah.
So okay, that's how it works, right? Just to get my head around the concept.
Yes, that's exactly how it works.
Mm-hmm. And then the next question. So let me check my notes. All right. So you planned to fund the Aquara treasury. Correct me if I'm wrong. By a coin sale, right? The coin is called Aqua, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
how much
yes.
Yes. So how much capital do you aim to raise, and why are you aiming for this amount?
Yeah, the idea is, as I mentioned, to create a decentralized sovereign wealth fund. And as you can imagine, that's quite big when you look at what Norway is doing with sovereign wealth funds. Same goes for Singapore. We're talking multi-billion even trillion-dollar products. So the idea is to really establish capital and treasury beforehand, because that will allow us to have credibility. So for the token raise itself, we haven't mapped out an exact amount, but we're creating a kind of dynamic model so that we raise around 5 to 10 million in a seed round, and then we'll open it up to the public. And then we do this dynamic round where if they are able to meet the investors, so let's say 1% for 500,000, then that's what we do. And if we are able to raise more, then we'll put up more percentages to the community, because the idea is to create credibility and a solid treasury before we will establish the community around the governance part, which will be essential later. We have a 12-year decentralization roadmap, but we start with credibility. We start with institutionalizing the product, and then we bring it to Cardano when it's ready.
So it's also an interesting choice because you're building it on Cardano. I'm guessing for reasons of security and reliability. But then you've chosen Bitcoin as one of your assets, right? And I guess we all know that because of its nature, Bitcoin does nothing but appreciate over time. But I was just wondering if the choice to go for Bitcoin also has to do by getting a wider audience exposure. Is that one of your considerations?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Bitcoin is the biggest asset in crypto. It's the asset that are held most by most crypto users. We are seeing Cardano bridges come into Bitcoin, so we're seeing those two assets overlap as well. And yeah, the core idea is that millions of people use Bitcoin, and if we use the treasury, when we accumulate the treasury in Bitcoin as well, we get exposure to those people too. So yeah.
Once you've created your fund and the investments are pouring in, then obviously you also need to decide what to do with it, right? Because you want to invest in promising projects around the world. So what can you tell about the decision-making process of Aquara? How's that structured?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the first things that I always get when people hear this idea of decentralized governance around water is that they immediately go like, is it a free for all? Like, can everybody just come in with no experience, no expertise and vote? And and my answer to that would be, yes, you can, but there are certain guardrails that prevent anyone from abusing the system. And we have spent almost a year researching different governance models for DAOs, and also looking at what institutions are already doing and trying to bring that to blockchain. So we've come out with a multi-layered governance system. As I mentioned before, we have a 12-year roadmap to decentralization. And the core idea of that system is that these 4 layers, we have the constitution, which decides essentially what the protocol, why the protocol exists, and what its mandate should be. And then you have the councils, which is kind of like the experts, decision makers in the protocol, which would be consisting of RWA expertise, hydrologist expertise, water finance expertise, treasury expertise, and then you'll have these different councils, which then will work with the rest of the protocol and follow the constitution. And then in the 3rd layer, you'll have the operational layer, and that could be any dev house on Cardano wanting to move in, or the system that we're currently building out an operating arm like IOG called Theis Systems. And that would be the operating arm building out the system for Aquara, and also later building out energy protocols, farmland, and the likes. And then the last, of course, and main layer would be the holder base, where it's this idea that holders can help decide on the constitution, veto decisions made by the councils. Major decisions are given to the holders, but and in the end, the major decision making happens at the holder layer. But we have made the guardrails with the constitution and the councils to really ensure that we secure our system in the most efficient way, and that's the model we picked for that exact reason.
It really sounds well. You're creating a whole ecosystem in itself, which is necessary for a project of this size and scope. Which also brings me to the following question: who is on the team? I mean, you need quite a bit of expertise, obviously, to be able to pull this off. So can you just tell us about who's on the team and what is your expertise?
For sure. We just finalized the core team formation, and I always say like because I'm fairly young. I just turned 26. I've been a school teacher. I've traveled around Japan. I don't have major experience in crypto and finance in the water sector. So I really try to structure a team around me with expertise. So essentially, I'm the founder and the project lead. I build out the vision and design the systems, but I really try to, as I mentioned, like structure it around. We just recently brought in a treasury lead, which has water finance expertise, which is CFA graded. He's worked with water finance and financing the water economy for the last 8 years. So massive experience there. He's currently creating our treasury. And then we have just also brought in a CTO from Argentina, which is he has immense experience, 20 years in with development, 5 years on Cardano. And yeah, he's constantly like throwing things at my face which I didn't know existed. We're also tapping into Intersect with him, so it's very interesting to have that expertise around. And then my marketing guy, he has been around crypto for 5 years in Cardano for the same amount. He's a D rep. He helps do marketing for one of the biggest stake pools on Cardano. So we really are tapping into that ecosystem as well. And then my last guy, my CFO, has worked for a water utility company around their economics and is also a former banker. So it's really about how do I merge TradFi with crypto people, and then of course also find quality advisors, because you're not able to build these public good sovereign wealth models one in a one-man show. So yeah, I really try to find people who are better than me at every single level that I'm not good at, and then hopefully it comes together beautifully. And so far it really has. So yeah, it's been great.
Where are you now with Aquara, and what is next on the roadmap?
Yeah. So the next plan is to raise a bit of grants. We're running through Catalyst Fund 15, where we'd be looking to build out a core MVP and run a DAO pilot and get a governance portal set up, very simple tech stack that we can build up this multi-layered system on. And same goes for, we want to get a treasury dashboard up, because people the idea is that once people see a treasury dashboard, they will immediately think of this as a value creating protocol, because some people tend to think about it more in a sustainability focused way, and it's good to merge those two. So that's really the core idea of what we're moving ahead with. And then once we've raised grants enough to build out the MVP, then we'll kick off the seed investment round. But that could be anything from 6 to 12 months from now. We want to take it slow and steady, just like Cardano. I believe that the best things come slow, but they come with a lot of quality as well, and that's the approach that we take.
What would you like to tell anybody who is watching this interview?
Yeah, wow. Well, I think I think this always happens with things that are category defining. People didn't understand really Bitcoin for so long, and once Bitcoin came around, people were like, um, inflation is not a problem, central banks is not a problem, because they really didn't see a solution which could be better. And I think that in the next 10 to 20 years, because of climate change, because of this massive value of trillions flowing into resource protocols, we're going to see a new defining category in the crypto market called decentralized resource finance. And right now, Aquara is the only protocol that's tapping into that space in the crypto market. We're opening up a market for 99.9% of the planet. We'll continue to do it. And I think that in the next 10 years, this will be a category defining moment for the crypto space. And Aquara and Cardano is leading the way. So yeah.
Where can people find out more information about Aquara if they want to?
Yeah. So yeah, tag Aquara official on Twitter. We have aquara.io, which is our website. And then through that, you can find the Discord we just launched. You can find the Telegram, the GitHub, even though it doesn't consist of that much yet. And in general, just receive updates. You can come on the wait list. It's on the website, so that you're signed up for getting news. And when we do the token launch, you'll be the first one to know. Same goes for the MVP. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to get engaged already, and I'll be happy to welcome anyone to the community.
Guys, oops, I just knocked over my microphone. So
Oh, good.
I think Aquara is an amazing project. Obviously, you're at the very beginning, but I'm really happy that we bumped into each other, because I think it deserves lot of attention, and I'm sure a lot of enthusiasm is going to be building around it, as time goes on, inevitably, because this is something that concerns all of us. So it's great to see you again, and I guess good luck with the project, and then we'll keep an eye on how it's going.
Appreciate it.